He was a young man with a keen eye for detail, and he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. Things had changed with the management of the place. As he put his arms around the old lady, he could smell it lingering around her neck. It was strong and sour. It started with a faint whiff, barely perceptible at first, but as time progressed, the odor intensified, engulfing his grandmother's room like a suffocating shroud. In the gentrified town of Milton, Santa Monica nestled amidst rolling hills and oak trees, a chilling mystery unraveled within the walls of the local nursing home. It all began with 34-year-old Josh Ham's routine visits to his grandmother, 87-year-old Harriet Ham, who resided there. Her family had decided to put her there as she had signs of early-onset dementia. At first, she seemed to like the new nursing home, but each encounter there left him unsettled, his senses assaulted by an inexplicable stench that seemed to cling to the air like a sinister fog. Initially, Josh attributed the foul smell to the institutionalized surroundings of the nursing home. The place had been open for 15 years now, so it was bound to have a signature scent. However, when he noticed his grandmother's withdrawn demeanor and her reluctance to engage in conversation, his suspicions heightened. She was usually friendly with him, but she kept covering her mouth. Could it be that the source of the noxious odor lay not in the facility itself, but within his grandmother's own being? It all started innocently enough with routine visits to see his beloved grandmother, but Josh couldn't shake off the foul odor emanating from her breath. At first, he brushed it off, attributing it to perhaps a change in diet or medication. He knew that they were giving her more boiled food without any flavor or spice. He decided to monitor if it was just a one-time thing. However, as the visits progressed, he couldn't ignore the alarming signs any longer. He didn't realize then what they were doing at the nursing home. Josh was a concerned grandson, and he stumbled upon a chilling revelation when he decided to take matters into his own hands to uncover the truth behind his grandmother's deteriorating health at the nursing home. Determined to uncover the secrets at Starlight Nursing Home, Josh confronted his grandmother about the matter. "Are you sure that you're using mint toothpaste, Grandma?" The old lady had tears in her eyes. Her response sent shivers down his spine. She claimed she couldn't brush her teeth at the nursing home. Upon confronting his grandmother, she timidly confessed that she couldn't properly maintain her oral hygiene at the nursing home. Josh wanted to know more. A wave of alarm surged through Josh as he realized the gravity of the situation. How could such a basic hygiene task be prohibited in a place meant to care for the elderly? Josh wanted to delve deeper into the matter. In the meantime, he gave his grandmother some mint sweets. Something sinister lurked beneath the surface. Josh, initially brushing off the odor as a minor inconvenience, soon realized that it was symptomatic of a much larger problem. Upon confronting his grandmother, he was met with a heartbreaking confession. She couldn't maintain proper oral hygiene due to constraints within the nursing home. Josh realized that he wouldn't be able to tackle the situation head-on. It was a sensitive situation because Grandma Ham was alone during the week. He couldn't do anything to make the staff upset. As he left the nursing home, he realized that most of the residents seemed sad and unhealthy. Although they had all the amenities, nobody used them. Driven by a sense of urgency, Josh delved into a relentless investigation, determined to unravel the sinister secrets lurking within the nursing home's walls. His quest for answers led him down a labyrinth of corridors, haunted by whispers of neglect and hidden agendas. He didn't realize then that what he found out was going to affect everybody living at Starlight Nursing Home. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Josh took matters into his own hands. He had to see what the doctors and nurses were up to during working hours, Armed with a hidden camera, he covertly planted it in his grandmother's room during his next visit, hoping to unveil the truth lurking in the shadows. Determined to get to the bottom of this unsettling mystery, Josh broke the rules by entering her room without supervision. Installing a discreet camera in his grandmother's room, he embarked on a mission to unveil the truth behind her deteriorating condition. The following weekend, Josh returned to the nursing home, his heart pounding with anticipation. He signed into the register as usual, greeting the manager, Mr. Redman, on the way in. Everything seemed normal until Josh started walking toward the residence area. The smell was thick and heavy, and he had to hold his breath as he walked. He anxiously knocked on his grandmother's room door. Little did he know that the footage he was about to witness would shatter his world and expose a heinous betrayal. As Josh made his way into his grandmother's bedroom, anticipation hung thick in the air. She asked him to sit and offered him some tea, which he politely declined. As she fussed about it, he quietly removed the hidden camera from the shelf and put it back in his bag. He would have to watch it somewhere else. His heart was racing, and perspiration hung on his forehead. But luckily, his grandmother didn't notice what he was hiding. Little did he know that the footage captured by his clandestine device would shatter his perception of the care his grandmother was receiving. Josh spent 2 hours with his grandmother. To her delight, he watched an old movie with her. He went home eager to continue his research on the nursing home. The worried grandson connected his devices and watched the recorded video of the week. As he reviewed the footage, his worst fears were confirmed in chilling detail. The caretaker assigned to his grandmother was none other than a young nurse harboring a deep-seated vendetta against Grandma Ham. She purposefully mistreated his grandmother. With a cold and calculated demeanor, the nurse callously neglected her duties, deliberately dropping Grandma Ham's bathroom essentials on the filthy floor and neglecting to clean the facilities properly. He saw his grandmother trying to alert her, but she brushed her off. Once she even kicked her wheelchair to the side, sending the old lady rolling into the corner. It was a shocking display of cruelty and neglect, perpetrated by someone entrusted with the care of the vulnerable elderly. Josh was appalled that a human being could be so cruel. The gravity of the situation hit Josh like a ton of bricks. His grandmother, a beacon of love and strength in his life, was being subjected to mistreatment at the hands of those entrusted with her care. He felt that it was his fault because his parents were the ones who had put her there in the first place. It cost them $4,800 a month to keep her at the old age home. The nursing home, oblivious to the nurse's sinister agenda, remained oblivious to the plight of Grandma Ham. The annoyed grandson didn't realize what he was getting himself into. In a shocking twist, the footage revealed the malicious nurse, Clara, harboring a vendetta against Grandma Ham. She would throw her food tray down and purposefully ignore her at times. Deliberately neglecting her duties, the nurse callously mishandled Grandma Ham's personal items, leaving them strewn across the floor. Josh watched the video footage in horror. He couldn't take his eyes off it. Worse still, she neglected to sanitize the bathroom, leaving Grandma Ham in a vulnerable and unsanitary environment. Josh felt sorry for his grandmother and knew that he had to do something. Josh started going to the old age home every Wednesday afternoon. He had to do thorough research. As he dug deeper, Josh unearthed a shocking revelation: a clandestine conspiracy orchestrated by the very caretakers entrusted with the well-being of the elderly residents. It wasn't just his grandmother who suffered. Numerous other seniors fell victim to the neglect and indifference of those tasked with their care. The residents had no idea that they were being taken advantage of. In a startling turn of events, Josh uncovered a devious scheme aimed at his beloved grandmother during a routine visit to her nursing home. The other members on the Silver Plan scheme were also targeted. He realized that the manager tried to cut corners with the Silver Plan members who had basic toiletries included in their contracts. They cut down on expenses and only gave them soap and toothpaste once a month. What began as a mere observation of a foul stench emanating from his grandmother's breath turned into a spine-chilling revelation of neglect and malice. In a heart-wrenching twist, Josh discovered that essential amenities, such as toothbrushes and toothpaste, were deliberately withheld from the residents, leaving them to suffer in silence as their oral hygiene deteriorated. The rancid odor plaguing his grandmother's room wasn't merely a result of neglecting to brush her teeth. It was a symptom of a much larger systemic issue that had long been swept under the rug. Yet Josh tried to get the other residents to give him some first-hand comments, but most of them were hard of hearing and didn't understand what he was asking. He was already reprimanded for talking to residents who were not related to him. Josh discovered that there were only a few people involved in the theft. It was the manager and 3 caretakers that he was paying off under the table. What's even more alarming is that the nursing home administration seemed completely oblivious to the horrors unfolding under their roof. When Josh tried to talk to one of the cleaning staff, she ran away, saying she needed the money more. Grandma Ham, in her vulnerable state, was powerless to speak out against the mistreatment she endured. It was up to Josh to protect the elderly. Undeterred by the enormity of the task before him, Josh sprang into action. He made copies of the recordings and kept them on file. He also had photographs of the dirty bathrooms at the nursing homes. He was confident that he had enough evidence against the manager. Armed with newfound knowledge and a steadfast determination to right the wrongs inflicted upon his grandmother, he vowed to seek justice and ensure her well-being, but he didn't know that somebody was going to stop him in his tracks. The caring grandson contacted the authorities with his information, and they arranged to meet at the nursing home the next day. Josh tried to remain calm as he waited for the right time to confront them. With a sense of purpose driving him forward, Josh wasted no time in procuring fresh toiletries for his grandmother, determined to alleviate her suffering and restore her dignity. Returning to the nursing home with resolve etched on his face, he prepared to confront the negligence that had plagued his grandmother's existence. The next day, Josh was ready for the manager and his unruly staff. The detective admitted that his own mother was in the facility and complained that it was below living standards. Armed with irrefutable evidence, Josh took his findings to the relevant authorities, igniting a firestorm of public outrage and demanding justice for the vulnerable residents of the nursing home. The once-hidden horrors came to light, sending shockwaves through the community and prompting a thorough investigation into the facility's practices. But Josh didn't realize the problem he was causing for over 100 residents at the Starlight home. The authorities could see that Josh had solid evidence, which is why they supported him. But they also needed to speak to the residents and their next of kin. They would have to get the contact details of all of their legal guardians and ask them if they would agree to sign the petition to shut the nursing home down. As the truth emerged, Josh grappled with a mix of emotions: anger at the callousness of those responsible, sadness for the suffering endured by his grandmother and countless others, and a burning determination to ensure that such atrocities never happened again. The concerned grandson discussed what he saw when he went to visit his grandmother. The detective was concerned that there was a bigger plot to the missing supplies at the home. As he stood outside the nursing home, his mind swirling with thoughts of what could be wrong within its walls, Josh vowed to be the voice for those who had been silenced by neglect. The battle for justice had only just begun, but with unwavering resolve, Josh Ham stood ready to fight for a future where the elderly were treated with the dignity and respect they deserved. Josh began his quest by meticulously researching nursing homes in the area, scouring through reviews, and visiting each one personally. With each visit, his heart sank a little lower. Some places were overcrowded, others were understaffed, and a few seemed downright neglectful. But Josh refused to give up. He was a man on a mission, fueled by love and concern for his family. He knew he had to find the perfect place for his grandmother. He didn't realize the stress the move was going to cause her. Some nursing homes had exorbitant fees that were beyond his family's budget, while others had waiting lists miles long. But Josh remained undeterred, his determination unshakable. In the meantime, when the authorities tried to enter the home again, they were armed with a warrant. The detectives had their team raid the nursing home. They found various issues from the building maintenance to the kitchen hygiene. They searched the stock area and found that toiletries and food supplies were missing. It seemed as though the manager was reselling them on the black market. The detectives searched the residents' rooms. They were shocked at what they saw. As he delved deeper into his search, Josh encountered numerous obstacles. When they saw that some of the rooms were without proper plumbing and running water, they realized where the smell was coming from. The worried grandson couldn't get his grandmother out of the nightmare nursing home fast enough. Despite the challenges, Josh refused to compromise on quality. He wanted a nursing home that not only provided top-notch medical care, but also fostered a warm and nurturing environment for its residents. He didn't realize that the move was going to cost him more than he planned. Along the way, Josh forged unexpected alliances with fellow caregivers and advocates for the elderly. They shared their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs, offering Josh invaluable insight and support. The revelation sent shockwaves through the community as the scandalous truth came to light. The sons and daughters of all the residents came together to take a stand against the greedy manager, Mr. Redman. How many other residents were suffering in silence at the hands of negligent caretakers? The once trusted haven for the elderly had become a breeding ground for abuse and neglect. In the wake of this harrowing discovery, calls for accountability echoed far and wide. The media were involved, and they reported the breaking story. Authorities swiftly launched an investigation into the nursing home's practices, vowing to ensure that justice would be served for Grandma Ham and all those who had fallen victim to such egregious misconduct. Josh was at the center of the investigation. To his grandmother's dismay, she was getting sick from all the interviews. Then Josh realized the plight of the elderly. As for Josh Ham, his unwavering determination to protect his grandmother had unearthed a nightmare beyond his darkest imaginings. Without being able to find a suitable nursing home at the time, he took his grandmother in with him. He converted his study into a temporary bedroom, but through his courage and tenacity, he had become a beacon of hope in the fight for the rights and dignity of the elderly, a hero in the face of unspeakable betrayal.